everybody, I'm Heather from Stamps by Judith and Heather. Welcome to our at-home scrapbook expo at home event. What we're going to be doing today, we have about a half an hour. I'm going to be working on the idea sheets, off the idea sheets. Idea sheet 1. You can download these things off our website. There's all sorts of different ideas. And Nathan is zooming in. If you don't know who Nathan is, he's my chair is squeaky. He's my 13-year-old son, so he's doing the camera work. So you may hear him mention that I'm off screen or something. But these idea sheets, we'll be doing idea sheet 1, and there's a video on our website that you can go back and watch me make everything on this page. But I'm going to create some of these things and adapt them for scrapbook pages. So I'll set these aside. And this is C-69 Fir Branch. It's one of our interactive stamps. So it can make a tree, a wreath, a garden, a garland, all sorts of different things. Fill a bucket, fill a pot, all out of this one stamp, using a few sticks and stubbies. So I'm going to start off. I will show you my page, and these will be on our website. And don't forget to sign up for the door prize on Rafflecopter on Expo's site. And we will have the stamps I use on here on sale for the month of July 2020. You don't need a coupon code. They will just be on sale on our sale page along with some other images. But this is the fir branch in my family with our traditional tree hunt page. So for a Christmas tree. So I'm going to create this tree, and there's kind of a pattern to do it. So I will show you that. Get my scrapbook page. This was a 12 by 12, and I cut it down a little bit. So I have that. I'm going to work at the bottom. So I have my fir branch, and I'm going to use my hunter green ink pad. And right here is the basic principle for creating the tree. It's like building an artificial Christmas tree. So what I'm going to do is take my fir branch. Are you in, Nathan?
Yep. Automatically zooming.
Very good. Okay. And you're going to start at the bottom and work up. I'm going to stack them up, and I'm going to
turn autofocus off.
Okay. I'm going to do varying heights. So I have different heights of trees. And you can always adjust them a little bit. So I have the tree stems, and then what I'm going to do is at the bottom, I'm going to branch my tree out, and as I go up, I'm going to taper my branches so they start tapering up. Think triangle. Now I'll show you what happens if I decide to put the branches coming out right here. All I did was just round it off and make a shrub. So in that case, this tree would need to be taller. So then I'm going to come back, stamping off. I'm going to do one side of the tree at a time, and I'm folding my stamp up as I go up. And the reason I do one side at a time is only because if I start flipping back and forth, one of the times I'm going to forget to flip it, and I'm going to have the stems going the wrong way. So I'm going to go up, and if you're new to stamping, this is a great way to get started because you're not locked into one stamp being just a tree and that's all it ever is. So there's one tree. Come over here, do the next one, and you can make them as full and bushy as you want. And you can see how they kind of fill themselves in if you follow that pattern. And now I'm actually going back and forth. It's a little different when you do it upside down. Oddly enough, it's almost a little bit easier. And this one rounded off, so I'll make it just a little bit taller. I only have 4 trees. Come in and add a little one right there. You can do as many as you want. Then to clean your stamp off, this is water on paper towel. All I'm doing is blotting my stamp. Then to decorate it, I'm going to use a couple little stamps and a stubby. These are sticks, and the numbers will be on our website with the sample page. So I have a couple different sticks, and stubbies are on a little bit bigger dowel, but they're a little shorter. So I'm going to start off with my star. And I'm just going to pop stars on the tops of my trees. But I want to show you, you can do that for a star. Let me move this off to the side. Or you can take this little solid light bulb, make sure I clean it off, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a star as well. Okay, so I have those stars. And I'm going to take, this is a fine line pilot pen. I usually use a V5 or a V7. You can find these at any office supply store. And I'm going to scribble my wires on here. And I have a loose end there. And the reason I do my wires first before I put my lights on it is I have a tendency to get a little uptight trying to connect all my light bulbs if I put the light bulbs first. All right, now I'm going to grab, this is a little plug stamp, also makes a very cute little car. I'm going to plug these loose ends in. There's a couple little outlets. And then I'm going to go back to this rainbow pad. What's kind of neat about these is you snap them together and you have a solid rainbow pad, and apart you have 5 individual ink pads, and the lids only fit properly when they're apart. So it's great for the little stamps. I usually like to have my lightest color to the left. Not every light has to be hitting a wire. And I'm using a solid light bulb as opposed to an open one, because the open one, even if I colored it in with my most primary colors, gets lost in the branches. Clean off between colors. Okay. And we have a stubby sized light bulb as well, but that one almost is too big for the trees. This one you can get a better variety of lights or different colors of lights. And just a hint, if you're doing your lights and you come to a point where you just kind of are not able to figure out where to put another light bulb, that's a good indication that you probably don't need any more. All right, so there are my lights. Now I want to soften this a little bit, so I'm going to take my dots. Dots are a stubby. These are AAA04. And what's kind of nice, I'm going to use them in blue and just lightly tap them. I'm not going to take my dots and put them down real heavy, because then I'm going to have blobs. I'm going to take my dots and kind of intersperse them into the trees. around. Okay, and then I'm going to add my snowflake, which is AA23, also in blue, stamping them off so I get some faded. All right. So that's the basic tree. Here is the finished page. I put some little blings on it. I used crystal lacquer, which is a shiny product. I keep it upside down in a cup with a damp paper towel to keep it open, but while it's wet you can use it to adhere glitter, which I just used a fine Prisma glitter. Up in the upper corner I put a little tree. This one's just a little string of lights, but if you had really fun handwriting you could write tree hunt and then have lights coming off the words. So that's just kind of a fun way to use the tree on your scrapbook page. You could use an individual tree on a card front, so that's a way to adapt it to a card as well. So that's one idea with the fir branch, and I'll have that sample on our website. But just because it's a fir branch doesn't mean it has to be green and foliage. Here is the same stamp, and I created a snowflake. So I have kind of a soft blue, and my fir branch, I'm going to make sure I clean it off. And this is where I'm going to snap together my rainbow pad because I'm going to use the blue and purple section. And what I'm going to start off doing, and this is on our idea sheet, is kind of create a blue plus sign. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to fill in the gaps. So that could be your basic snowflake, but if you want to, you can extend these out like that. You could fill up your page. So we'll just do a bunch of snowflakes. I'll do about 3 on this one. Varying sizes. Okay. And I like having the blue and purple mixed together. And this one I didn't quite get the gaps right. That's okay because I can come back in and fill those in a little bit and extend out my ends. Okay, so different snowflakes. Then I'm going to come in with my dots again, the AAA 04, and add some soft dots around things. Okay. Got that. Back to my AA23. Some little snowflakes. And then I'm going to grab, I believe it's AAA 201. I'm not completely sure on that, but it's a dot snowflake. And I'll show you another idea with the dots in this dot snowflake in just a moment. So I got that. Here is my page. Now, the edge, I can't stand that white, or in this case soft blue edge. So what I do is take my pilot pen, can't draw a straight line at all, so I'm not going to try. I'm going to wobble, and there I almost went off the page. It's no big deal, so I'll come back in and wobble 2 lines. And if I do that all the way around the page, it kind of finishes up the edge so it's not just so loose. So again, here's the snowflakes, but I wanted to show you the ideas with the dots and the snowflake. So I'll just do it on my page here. I'm going to take this snowflake, now I'm going to bounce it around and grab, this is a leaf, this is 301. And now your snowflake just became a flower. The dots are here, I slammed them around. I don't want that. I'm going to take my dots, and now I am going to slam them down in a blob. And come in with that leaf again. Like that. And then this leaf in itself. And these are in the idea sheets and on our website. So you can find a lot of these samples there. I'm going to come in. So you have the leaf. So that's those little ones again. Another one where you don't necessarily have to stamp it in green. This is my middle daughter, pretty picture of her in the fall. I have greens in here, but I stamped it also in oranges and browns. And what I did, put my image or my picture down on my page, just so I didn't have way extra. I just tapped a dot at each corner of my picture. I'm going to start off with the green in my fir branch. And I'm just going to kind of randomly throw these around. Try to cover up those dots a little bit. And I'm not thinking too much about what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to come back in, stamp a few light ones here and there. Okay, so I have that. And I'm going to switch to a brown ink pad and just add some brown ones in there. All right. And then, oops, I still need that stamp, the orange ink pad. Few more orange and we're good. All right, so there's my ink pads. Then I'm going to grab just a couple markers. These are Tombow watercolor markers. This is 985. It's just a little bit of a golden orange. And I'm just putting a few little dashes of orange in there. Okay, got that. And then my 192 green. And my marker stroke is literally just a swipe, kind of a flick of my wrist, so I get a feathery end. So I have that. And then the 942, a soft tan. And this one is almost dead, but it works. Okay, so I have that. And if I put my picture down, because I made those little marks in the corner, it fits perfectly. So now I'm going to take that 301 leaf, here we go, 301, and actually I'm going to use the green out of my rainbow pad. All right. Put some solid leaves. Since the fir branches are all kind of feathery, this one gives you some boldness. Like that. And then I'm going to take my AA08, which is still in my bucket, and I'm going to stamp it in my orange. Just going around, adding a few flowers, clean it off, and then pop over into my red. Whoops. And the red is bold enough that I can go down into the branches. Okay, and now I'm going to add my dots, but instead of using blue, I'm going with the fall colors. I'm going to grab them in brown. Oops. Clean it off, but I'm going to do it in the same technique. I'm going to stamp it around. I'm not going to take my dots and slam dark brown dots all around this. And brown dots make great sand. I can show you that. So if you have a beach scene, you could use the fir branch as water weeds and add some blue ink. Let me grab a scratch piece of paper. Oh, here. But I did want to show you this basically is done, so then you would put your picture on there and you'd have your little fall frame. But for the dots to create a beach scene, I'm going to just take and tear a piece of paper, brown ink. Grab another scratch piece of paper so Nathan doesn't have to move the camera too much. Now I'm basically going to go underneath my dots, or my torn paper, stamping them heavy. And should have kept my other piece of paper for the second half of this technique. So there's sand. Take that tan colored marker, just so it's not so loose. Now my torn piece of paper, I had the top and the bottom. My bottom should fit pretty close to covering up my sand. Grab my hunter green ink and my, whatever this is called, fir branch. Do that, add a little crab or a fish in there or some shells, and you got a really kind of pretty little beach scene. And let's see, kind of, there's some water. So yeah, it can be adapted to different ways. Very easy to take this same stamp. Go. No, I want my hunter green. Here we go. My hunter green. And you can take and loop it. That way, turn your stamp around and there's a garland. You can take the same stamp. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. So I'm going to kind of go around in a circle, following the inner part of that curve. 1, 2, 3, 7. You can do 7's a good number, or 8. Then I'm going to turn my stamp around and go back on top the opposite direction. And there's your garland. Or not garland, that's your wreath. That's your garland. I'm getting myself confused. Take this. There's your little corner. Let's see, we'll grab, this is a little solid balloon. You're going to take your solid balloon, do that, fine line pilot pen, and you can even get a little carried away with your solid balloons. Here, this is in purple. So this is why we call these things interactive stamps, because you're not locked into it always being just one thing. Take your balloons, and there's your little bundle of grapes. And even if you want to get a little carried away, take your little solid balloon, little black circle, tie a little ribbon, take a red marker, and there's your little mouse balloon. So there's a lot, again, you can do with this stamp, C-69 Fir Branch, and there's a lot more I could do with it that I didn't show you, but you can download these off our website. Again, there's videos that match each page, different kinds of stamps, interactive stamps. So, and videos that match. Again, don't forget about the door prize on Rafflecopter, and the stamps will be on sale, the ones I used, for the rest of the month. You can find them on our Stamps of the Month or our sale page on our website. No coupon code is needed. And yeah, I hope you have a great time cropping, and we'll talk to you another time. Hopefully we can see you at a show at some point in the future. Again, I'm Heather from Stamps by Judith and Heather, and thanks for joining me today. Bye.